So Vicki, today a lot of the pitches to the media or bloggers start with an email. What would be the best way to approach them with an email? Is there some tips you can share with us?
Yes. First of all, you want to start with a very catchy subject line. And that might go back to the idea of your headline. I found too that mentioning the company name or the product in the subject line is good too, because a lot of times reporters do searches and they can go back to the company name if you have that on the subject line. Then personalize your emails. Dear Fred, dear Ms. Vasquez, dear Julia. Personalization is really good. And then also think about a script, maybe the same kind of script that you might have used as you did your telephone pitch. Have that short, to the point, very punchy. Have that. You can also embed your press release. I wouldn't send attachments unless they ask for them.
Okay.
And just make sure that you have not put in your header the two-part. Like if you're sending to a group of people, don't have a lot of people. Just send individually.
Right. So that they don't know that you sent it to 20 other reporters.
Exactly. Yeah.
And when you were talking about, so you want to put the press release right in the body of the email as opposed to like attaching a DF or something.
That's what I would do.
Okay. What about like pictures? Don't attach those either, or just tell them you have them?
I would say you would have them available. Maybe you could give them a website or give them a link to where they can go and get pictures.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so when you've done the email pitch and you've sent it off, should you be discouraged if you don't get a response right away?
Well, what I think, Mary, is that reporters get hundreds and hundreds of emails. And they don't know about yours a lot of times. I mean, so what I do, even if it's catchy, it's still, the phone call is the clinching piece. And you don't call up and say, did you get my email? No. First of all, you call, and I always say, is now a good time? Are you on deadline?
Sure.
So get permission first. And then I give my script, my 30-second pitch. And then I'll say, now I did send an email on January 27th. If you want to look back and see if you got it. If not, I'll be happy to resend it.
Right.
And that way they can have more of a frame of reference.
So would you call the next day? Would you call 2 days later?
I would call that same day, the next day. You don't want to get too buried.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think those are really good tips to remember in terms of email and maybe so one email, then the phone pitches, not multiple emails.
Right. I think that one email is good, and then when you do your telephone follow-up, again, it's important to leave your phone number twice.
Okay.
In the beginning and at the end, and also never leave the same voice message twice. When you call, make sure that your second message is a different twist. Then only leave one message a day, one phone message a day. So don't call 3 or 4 times in one day.
Because that would just be too much.
Bugging, yeah.
Right. You have to respect their time.
Exactly.
But you're still telling your story through the telephone pitch and also through the email pitch.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of different, you really have a lot of elements that you have to really put into place. The press release is really just the beginning, even if you have a press release.
Exactly.
You may have just a media alert.
Exactly. And two, I think depending on what the medium is that you're going to, I have a different formula, different format for a radio interview or a TV interview as opposed to a print interview. So
is pitching those kinds of, it's different?
It's still the same, except if I'm pitching for a radio interview, my format would be different. I would put a little background. Years ago, it used to be this way, and now it's this way. And here's the person that's got the solution to that. Her background is this, this, and this. And here are 5 questions you can ask that person. That would be the radio type.
Right.
And it would work very well for broadcast as well.
Sure. But of course it wouldn't work for a newspaper.
No, not exactly. Not exactly.
Right. Okay. Those are good tips to remember.
That's what works.